This is an amazing story of true love. Thank you so much for sharing it with us. This is such an amazing story, so let's show our support. Give this a thumbs up and click the subscribe button to get notified every time we upload a new story. In the tapestry of life, there are moments that stand out as pivotal moments when the very fabric of our existence is real. For me, one such moment arrived unexpectedly, stealing away my sense of security and independence in an instant. It was a rainy night, the kind that often feels more like a sad song than a part of speech. As I steered my car through the slick streets, the city lights blurring into one another, I felt a sense of calm that only comes with the quiet hum of routine. The accident happened so suddenly that the last thing I remember is the sound of screeching tires and the sickening crunch of breaking glass. When I regained consciousness, I found myself ensnared in a prison of twisted metal and shattered glass. My body screamed in protest as I tried to move, my legs refusing to obey. My heart hammered against my ribs like a frantic bird beating against a cage. Through blurry vision, I saw them cut away the wreckage around me, piece by painful piece. I felt exposed, vulnerable, stripped bare. The aftermath was a blur of hospital, stark, white walls, the hushed tones of doctors, and the worried face of Amara, my girlfriend. The accident had taken away so much. My car, a mangled heap of metal, my job gone because I couldn't walk. My independence vanished overnight, replaced by hospital walls and the slow agony of recovery. But amidst the ruins of my old life, there was her Amara. In those first weeks after the crash, I was a prisoner of my own self. Looking at myself in the mirror was a torment. The sight of the bandages, the casts, and the tubes felt like a brand seared into my soul. My body was a battleground of pain and healing, my legs barely obeying my will. The simplest tasks, dressing myself, walking to the bathroom, became Herculean labors. There were days when the frustration boiled over, turning into anger, not just at my situation, but at everyone around me. One evening, after a particularly grueling session of physical therapy, I lashed out at Amara. "Why didn't it take you? Why am I the one left to deal with this?" My words were harsh, echoing in the sterile room, bouncing off the walls like bullets. Amara stood frozen, her eyes wide with hurt. For a moment, I saw nothing but pain reflected back at me. Then, slowly, she turned and walked out, leaving me in the suffocating embrace of my own misery. The first few weeks were the hardest. My emotions were a storm-tossed sea, my thoughts a tempest of self-blame and despair. Days bled into one another, each marked by the relentless tick-tock of the clock. Yet amidst my turmoil, there was one constant. The soft persistence of hope. It was Amara. She didn't vanish after that first visit. She stayed. Every day she would arrive bearing small comforts, a favorite book, a cozy blanket, sometimes just her presence. She read to me, talked to me, joked, and she made me laugh. At times, I could almost pretend that the accident, the pain, the endless hospital stay, it was all a bad dream. One night, after another of my angry outbursts, she climbed into my hospital bed, careful not to disturb the tubes and bandages. She wrapped her arms around me, her touch as comforting as a warm hearth on a winter's night. "You didn't lose everything," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. "You still have me, and I'm not going anywhere." Her words were a lifeline tossed into the churning sea of my despair. They anchored me, reminding me that I wasn't alone in this fight. And she kept her promise. She stayed. Day after day, week after week, she was by my side. She helped me through the lonely hours, the frustrating days, the terrifying nights. She celebrated my small victories as if they were Olympic gold. And when I wanted to give up, she convinced me to try just one more time. Her love was a balm on my wounds, a soothing touch on my raw nerves. It was a constant presence, unwavering and true, a beacon in the darkness of my despair. With her by my side, I began to heal, not just physically, but emotionally, too. I started to see the accident not as a curse, but as a test, a crucible that had refined our love, making it stronger, deeper, more resilient. As the weeks turned into months, I began to regain my strength bit by bit. My legs, once so weak they trembled at the slightest effort, grew stronger. The muscles, once atrophied from disuse, started to define. The road to recovery was long and arduous, but with Amara by my side, I faced each challenge, each setback, each ache with renewed determination. One afternoon, as we sat by the window watching the sunset paint the sky in hues of orange and purple, I turned to Amara, her hand resting lightly on mine. "Do you ever regret it?" I asked, my voice hoarse with emotion. "Regret what?" she replied, her gaze fixed on the horizon. "Staying here with me," I said, "putting your life on hold for someone who might never be whole again." Amara turned to me, her eyes shining with unshed tears. "Never," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. "You are whole, Leo. You are more than enough for me. And besides," she added with a playful grin, "where would I go? I've been waiting for you to propose, haven't I?" I laughed, the sound echoing in the quiet room. We sat in silence for a moment, the weight of her love pressing down on me, a comforting burden. In that shared silence, I realized that the accident had been a cruel thief, stealing away my old life, my old dreams. But it had also been a catalyst, forging our love into something unbreakable. I realized that while some dreams had slipped through my fingers like sand, new ones lay within reach. Dreams that we built together, dreams that promised a different kind of happiness, one rooted in the solid ground of shared adversity and unwavering love. Now, when I think about the accident, I don't just remember what I lost. I remember what I found, the kind of love that doesn't waver in tragedy, that lifts you up when the world feels like it's crashing down. The kind that holds your hand through the pain, makes you laugh in the darkest nights, and reminds you that you are still worthy, still whole, still loved. I may have lost almost everything that night, but I didn't lose her. And that has made all the difference. Our story isn't over. Of course, we've faced many challenges since then. There were times when the old me, the me before the accident, the me who was full of dreams of climbing mountains and running marathons, he surfaced and felt sorry for himself. There were days when the pain was unbearable, when the scars felt like burning chains, and when the road ahead seemed too dark to travel. But we got through those days, too, and we did it together. Slowly, I learned to adapt to my new reality. With her encouragement, I pursued new dreams, ones that were more within reach. I started writing, pouring my experiences, my pain, my love, and my newfound perspective into words. It was a journey of rediscovering, learning to love myself again, to accept my scars as a testament to my strength, and to appreciate the beauty of a sunrise as if it were a miracle. As the years went by, the pain lessened, the scars faded, but the love deepened. Each shared glance, each quiet moment, each laughter-filled day wove a new chapter in our story, a story that began in tragedy, but was rewritten in the ink of resilience and the watercolor of hope. One sunny afternoon, as we strolled hand in hand through a park, the leaves rustling overhead like a soft applause, I stopped and turned to Amara. Her eyes, those beautiful brown eyes that had mirrored my pain and shared my joy, shone with an inner light. In that moment, I knew I was the luckiest man alive, not because I had once been whole, but because I had found wholeness again in her, in our love. If there's anything I've learned from my story, it's this: love isn't about perfection. It's about staying when everything else falls apart. It's about choosing each other day after day, no matter how broken the world feels. It's about finding magic in the mundane, hope in the darkness, and strength in the face of adversity. It's about two people who, despite the odds, decided to stay, to grow, to love, and most importantly, to heal together.